Alright, today we're going to replace the radiator, which is leaking at the front driver's side on the bottom, with a CSF 3543 model from Rock Auto, all of $70 plus shipping. So we're going to replace that bad boy. There's my kid looking out the window. If we have time, we're going to do an oil change. Some people like 5W20 in these. I like to do 5W30. I always go Mobil 1 pretty much in all my vehicles. And I do a Mopar oil filter. If they don't have the Mopar one at like Walmart or something, I'll just grab usually a Mobil 1. One is my second choice, so all good. But if I can get the Mopar one, I do. But here we go. You gotta have the essentials. And I use the cheaper SuperTech coolant. Alright, so we're at my buddy's garage. He's got a big pole barn. Got a lot of stuff removed here. Intake, all of the plastic clips, there's so many. They all got to come down, up from over there, all across the beam. And then you can kind of access the radiator. You can see the radiator there. AC condenser is in front of it, kind of a pain. But she's pretty loose right now. And there's a thermostat as well. In case you're there and you want to change your thermostat, you can, but I just did that with the water pump. There's all the plastic. You can see I'm using quick jacks. These things are awesome. Shout out to Bill for letting me use his quick jacks. And you can see how high it puts the Durango. And yeah, there's the new radiator there. Looks pretty good from Rock Auto. There's the part number again, 3543. And just for comparison, it's a little bit like a hair thinner, like 1/8 thinner than the OEM one. But yeah, you got to reuse those rubber grommets that I just pointed to. Put those back on top. And it's easier if you take that fan out, then you take the radiator out. And the fan is clipped down on around hooks. See the little clips there? It's kind of hooked around the radiator, so you got to be aware of that. Get down there with a flashlight. Fresh oil change, tires rotated, new radiator, obviously fluid, new O2 sensor, bank 1, sensor 1 upstream. So hopefully we have all good news on the way home and the rest of the week with no check engine lights. That's the plan. Taillight mod. If you know, you know. Alright, so just a couple things about doing a Durango radiator. This is the inside of the Durango, so this is the side that the fan goes on right here. Just so you know, this is where mine was cracked, which I actually thought the crack was going to be lower. See if we can zoom in and show you. You can see the crack starts there. It goes all the way down this little tab here, and it kind of stops at the bottom of the tab. That's where the crack starts, right up there. As far as I know, this is original radiator. I didn't look up those numbers, but as far as I know, 166,000 miles on it. So, just a couple pointers here. So the fan sits on here, and the same thing on these sides. And these clip in. So let me just show you, they clip in. If you look at the angle of them, they clip in. You'll see this when you order your new radiator if you need to do it. But you gotta unclip them. I found it easier to take the fan out first. At first I tried to pull it all out together, but I actually had to take the fan out and then really focus on getting the radiator out while keeping the condenser in. Unless you're doing both at the same time, which a lot of people tend to do, but I really had no reason to do the condenser. So yeah. But all in all, I think this is just built up down here. I didn't really see a crack unless it's in the metal. But the leak was on the passenger side. No, on the driver's side, excuse me. And I wasn't sure if it was, you know, coming from this area. This actually snapped off in there. I tried to tighten it a little bit just in case that was leaking, just as a last ditch effort. I already ordered a radiator at that point because I knew there was a leak somewhere. But see if I can show you that. You can see. That's just me pulling on it, but somehow, I mean, it was leaking, but not like horrible. Somehow it stayed decently during all that. I probably could have driven it even longer, but eventually it was going to probably break worse and leave me stranded somewhere. So that's why we did it. The next morning, after you do radiator, and you just want to say, I hope there's no leaks. Parked on the concrete for a reason, not in the street. Get the RSX in the street. Parked on the concrete for a reason, so we could see if there was anything. And guys, she looks pretty darn dry. So we'll keep an eye and we'll go from there. $70 radiator for the win. Temperature has stayed good. It's a cold morning. Some stop and go traffic, but for the most part, I'm moving even if it's slow. So it exactly hasn't gotten up. My temp has never gotten up really halfway. It's usually just below that halfway line, which is pretty normal. But so far so good. And we'll check again when we get to work for leaks just to see if anything is happening. But if I have an issue with this radiator, I will put a link down below in the description, even if it's a year from now. I'll come back to this video, I'll put a link down and kind of do a quick update video. But if the radiator stays good, Rock Auto, $69.99, then I think it's a win-win. Because the Mopar one was like $500-$600 or $450 to $600, depending where you got it from. And all the other ones were like, you know, $100, blah, blah, blah. But the reviews on this one and checking a few Durango Facebook groups said that it fit pretty good, and I agree. It lined up pretty good. It fit just like OEM. It's maybe like 1/8 of an inch at the most, a little bit thinner. But I think that's no big deal. Like I said, the temperature in this thing has always stayed great. So if there's an issue, I will put a description down below. Thanks for watching. Later. Oh, like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. You know the deal. More Durango content on the way.